And good morning. It is very cold. I'm your friend Scotty Ray as we start this Monday out. Right now it is a cool 30 with a wind chill of 19. That's going to seem warm in a couple of days as we hit 21. We'll hit somewhere around 20 a couple of nights this week also. Got all the details on the forecast coming up. It's just flipping back and forth. Did the groundhog know what he was talking about? I don't know, but it sure is a big difference in weather. Again, cold right now. Prepare for that. Carry a jacket. Wind chill of 19, 30 right now as you're waking up. We got all your headlines that are shaping America this morning. What's going on? We'll fill you in on all that, plus your local headlines at 7. Odie will be in to join us here in a little bit as we get the day underway, as we'll get ready for the Mardi Gras parade on this coming Saturday. It's not long off, is it? It's coming up pretty soon there. Right now, let's go to Collinsville. Let's get a good word of the day as we go out to hear Brother Ben. What has he got to tell us today?
Have you ever heard of an inverse relationship? An inverse relationship occurs when the change in one variable causes another variable to change, but in the opposite direction. As one goes up, the other goes down, or as one goes down, the other goes up. For instance, if you're a grocery store owner, you would know that the temperature outside and soup sales have an inverse relationship. As the temperature goes up, soup sales go down. And when the temperature goes down, soup sales go up. People prefer soup in colder weather. Or when interest rates go up, home sales go down. And when interest rates go down, home sales go up. Or how about the unemployment rate? When it goes up, consumer spending goes down, but when unemployment goes down, consumer spending goes up, right? These are all inverse relationships. When one thing changes, it causes the other thing to change in the opposite direction. Now, you might be thinking, Ben, why in the world are you talking about inverse relationships? Well, that's because we have an inverse relationship in today's word of wisdom found in Proverbs 29:23. There it says, one's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will obtain honor. That's an inverse relationship in the kingdom of God, you see. When you lift yourself up with pride, you'll be brought low. And when you lower yourself with humility, you will be brought high and honored. Jesus said it this way in Matthew 23, whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. So as you go about your day today, keep this inverse relationship in mind. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Good morning and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. On the way this morning, we'll talk about, and I know that there's a few of you who are watching this morning that are, well, sitting in the cold, in the dark, been without power a few days. We'll tell you about that. That big storm hit Saturday night, and, well, it's been, the power companies have been hustling to get everything back together. We'll give you the stats of where we are and all that. Hopefully everyone will get back up and running today. But as Odie pointed out, hey, big thank you to the man up above. We didn't lose a life. We did have some houses messed up, and it was just widespread. We'll get into all of that coming up this morning beginning at 7. Barry, good morning to you. Miss Wally is there. Ruth joins us. Nancy, Henry, how in the world are you? Hadn't seen you in forever. Adele is joining us, along with Miss Shine and Mark, and many of you. So many of you, glad to see y'all as we begin this. What is it, Odie, that the average American gets off a year of your vacation? Is it 11, 12 days a year the average person gets at a job?
I don't think it's quite that much.
Might not even be that much. It gets put in for it, and we know how that goes. Well, they've added it up. Biden, over the course of his 4 years, this may be shocking, 39% of his time was on vacation. It was 577 days over the course of 4 years that he took off. That's the most of any president that we have history of keeping track with that. 577 days. The rest of us would be, well, fired. You wouldn't be able to keep a job because you didn't show up. Now, no one kept a record of how many days he was confused. We're still,
that was the rest.
That was the rest of them. But wow. Seriously, y'all know how that is. You may get 2 weeks, you may get 10 days. Your first year, sometimes it's up to 5 years, you only get five days off from work. But it adds up to that for you there. as we look at this, a rodeo rider that close to death as he was hooked. Florida is where it all happened. He's going to be okay in the end. I'm going to tell you, it takes some guts to be a rodeo cowboy. Bull riding, it's something else. We're glad that he's going to make it. It was a close one for him, though. This is where I have issue with this as South Carolina gets ready to another execution as they get ready to implement it. It's going to happen next month in March is when it is. The death row inmate, his attorneys are asking for the autopsy of the last person that was put to death in the state of South Carolina because they want to look at the records to see how long it took him to die, more or less. And they want to choose which way that he wants to go. Electric chair, lethal injection, or by firing squad. They're trying to stall yet again. Did I mention what he did? Many, many moons ago, I'm trying to find the year it may have happened. 2001 is when it happened. He attacked a girl's parents that he was dating. They were in separate rooms in the home, and he beat them to death with a baseball bat. I don't think they were given any extra time, were they? Rattles me bad. Mavericks coach. Oh boy, this is really embarrassing for somebody. Arrested on aggravated assault charges. I don't know if that affects your job with what you do, but it's not good. We have a wife that's been convicted of murdering an Army soldier, her husband, at a military base. It happened in Kansas. Yeah, the death would take place last February, a year ago. She's been convicted of that. It looks like there's at least one automaker that's going, wait a minute, we don't want these tariffs. It would be Nissan that are making arrangements to build a factory here instead of in Mexico to get around those tariffs. I think that's what the whole object of that tariff thing is, to put more companies back in the US of A. Igloo. When's the last time you bought a cooler? I didn't think this was possible, but I guess so. They're recalling more than 1 million coolers this morning over concerns about fingertip amputation, the way it closes the lid that your finger could get hung in it. They're doing this voluntarily. No one's making them doing it. They're recalling it. So if you've bought one of those coolers, you can find it there. And they released this on Thursday there. You can find it on Igloo's website. I hadn't bought a cooler and I don't know when. This is rattling that people would do this. Y'all know that fella that killed the United Healthcare CEO? Was it Streets of New York? He is thanking people for the amount of letters that he is getting in the mail. It's almost as if they think he's a hero of some sort. It was still murder. I don't quite get how people could do that. That's in the news this morning also there. Wyoming, and I guess the closest thing that we have around here to this would be in Mobile. You know the tunnel that goes in Mobile as you're crossing under? 3 people have died in a fiery wreck in a tunnel there in Wyoming. That's just awful there. We sure hate that happened. The reporter that went to Super Bowl that lost his life to the female, do you know what I'm talking about? Somehow or another got hooked up with a female, and he was found deceased in his hotel room. There's tons of people coming forth now going, wait a minute, I had trouble with her also. I don't know what that makes her. I'll let you fill in the blanks, but Denny's. When's the last time you ate at a Denny's? It's been many a year since we had one here. It used to be on South Frontage Road next to Service Merchandise, if you'll remember. They're looking at closing more locations this year. No, wasn't Denny's there too?
Denny's was down by Holiday Inn Express.
Holiday Inn Express.
North Frontage Road.
North Frontage Road. Where at?
Down there by Northeast Hotel Center.
Northeast Hotel Center. Which end of the interstate? Toward Holiday Inn?
Across from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Across from Buffalo Wild. You're right. It had the big restaurant inside.
Yeah.
Look at Odie knowing his hotels.
they're breakfast places.
Breakfast places. You're right. That was Shoney's that was over, had the big boy over by Service Merchandise, and that was Denny's there. Yeah, I remember the big restaurant. I ate there many, many times. Big tables.
Oh, good food.
Yeah, everybody. Buffalo Wild Wings, boy. They say your memory is the first to go. This is not going well for me. Oh, boy. Have y'all seen this? And this happened to the basketball player. We may have brought this up on Friday. The basketball player, was it a year or two ago, that was in Russia that happened to have gummies or something that were marijuana? If you go to other countries, they don't recognize this as a pastime. We've got another American that's been arrested in Russia for, well, marijuana. Dope. Things of that nature when it comes to gummy bears and whatnot. You can't take this to other countries. Research before you travel anywhere else. Someone has rejected the union. It's Amazon, North Carolina warehouse. They voted on it and they shot it down. It's not going to be taken over by the union. This day and time, I almost feel like that might be a good thing. Kentucky, bless their hearts, they've had a tough time there. Flooding. 9 people have died. Thousands have been rescued after flooding has gone through there. Well, as we go to other countries, to quickly look at a few other things. South Africa is where this happened. A gold mine fell in. 42 people lost their lives. Kind of reminds you of, what was it, Big Bad John?
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was. Death toll in India at a train station, a stampede. It always scares me with big crowds of what could happen if something were to go wrong. 18 people lost their lives in India at a train station. We also, Australia, we had a 14-year-old boy that was stabbed by an Islamic terror motive. 14 years old, lost his life for no reason. That's what we see from abroad. The Justice Department has been laying some people off. They fired multiple immigration judges, basically for not doing their jobs. Now, some news agencies are going to put this as it's a backlog and it's going to cause more problems. What was number one at the box office this weekend? I haven't seen the clip. I don't know whether I want to go see it yet or not. Captain America, they got a new series and they got a new guy playing it. But it brought in over $100 million over the weekend. That's a pretty good bit there. So if you're a big fan of Captain America, you might want to go see that. That's in theaters. And trust me on this, it won't be long before you don't go to the movies to where it's released automatically to your phone from the movie producers in Hollywood. It will probably bring a lot more revenue than they currently do with going to a theater. That is the next step of what's coming. A lot of people are scared of these type of things, but it is happening. It's going to come directly to you, as music does and so many other things do. Technology is changing. We'll be right back as we'll get into this cool forecast that's coming your way. We'll do all that and more in just a moment.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
As the seasons change, so do your clothes, and Garrett Sport exactly what you need. Haybo shirts, long and short sleeve, also Hulk shirts, and America's favorite brand, Carhartt. Whether you need work pants or slacks for church, and nothing lasts like a pair of Carhartt overalls. Maybe it's a set of boots that you need to keep you dry in those wet conditions. And as hunting season rolls in, they have all the camouflage you need and toboggans to boot. Garrett Sports Center, 3505 8th Street, Meridian.
Here at
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Welcome back as we go to check our forecast as we go back to 1995. Anybody remember that year? Whew. Well, I'd been married 5 years. I was still broke. I remember it well. It was 82 a high set on that day. 19, let's see, we moved to 2021 when we set the record low. That's really not that long ago, unless you go to counting fingers there. And that, oh my gosh, 4 years ago. 14 today was the record low set in 21. As we look at the outlook for today, 53 is the best we're going to get out of that thermometer outside. As we go north, 51 in Columbus, Eupora 50-ish. We'll see that somewhere around Louisville as well. As we go down the river, we'll jump all the way to 56 around Natchez and see that in Hattiesburg as well, and warmer as you go toward the Gulf Coast. Now, as we go across to Demopolis there at the river, we expect it to be somewhere around 50, and we see the 40s in Birmingham and northern Alabama. It's very cold at that state line there at Tennessee. We'll see Auburn at 52 at War Eagles. And be ready for this. Cold weather is upon us. Overnight lows of 15 to 25. High on Thursday. Look at this. It's going to be wind chills at or below 15. Protect your vegetation if you've already been out planting something with this warm snap that we've had. This is going to be Wednesday night through Friday morning when the worst of the worst will be here. We'll look at your temperatures in just a second. As we see here, cooler weather off to the east there in Bama, Georgia, up the Carolinas. As we begin this, here's what we see. Today, 52 down to below freezing tonight, 31, 54 on Tuesday. And that could possibly change there as we look to Wednesday, as the lows will dip to 20 on Wednesday night. This is when that real cold, strong front moves in. High of only 47. As we look to Thursday, 42. Look at this, 21. As we get to Friday, we'll have 46. Highs in the 40s all week. Boy, that's different. 27 on Friday night, and we'll see 29 on Saturday. Then we start seeing 60-degree weather again. Extreme low temperatures. Make sure those pipes are wrapped. It will bust at that type of temperatures, lows overnight. Now, our extended forecast, look at this. We're in the 20s, and we're going to be in the 70s next week. Man, want to talk about doctor visits. 74 on Tuesday of next week, 75 next Wednesday, 52 at night compared to 20 of this week. Man alive. We'll see 76 on March the 2nd. Look at that. It's coming. A few showers and thrown in there as well. But temperatures are seesawing as we look at this. Let's look at our best times to fish today. Here's what we've got. Monday, today, north-northwest wind around 5 miles an hour, becoming calm this afternoon. Your best times to fish are about 2:45. Let's call it 3 o'clock this afternoon through 5 p.m. Sunrise happened at 6:34 this morning. Sunset will happen at 5:43 as we start seeing these days get a little bit longer and longer each day. It's good to see that. Now let's look at this forecast. Go to live radar is what we've got this morning as we look at Doc's Toyota radar. Down in the southwest corner of Mississippi, we'll see that we've got a freeze warning right along here. As we go north to this Tennessee line, if you will remember, we were getting chances of snow last week. They've taken that out of our forecast, but just across the state line, and we could see still snow in Tupelo this week. We'll see that there's a winter storm watch through the 19th. That's Jackson, Tennessee, right up to Tunica, Collierville, Tennessee, these areas here around West Memphis. As you get into Dyersburg, winter storm warning. That's not that far away from us. And again, we do expect to see some snow in the northern part of the state. It's just the east central side. Jackson will not see any at this point. It's Mother Nature, and we'll watch this, but we will have the correct temperatures for winter. That's what's coming across here. As you look at Oklahoma back over here, extreme cold watch. You'll see that in Dallas as well. It is cold, cold, cold. Over toward Douglas, Valdosta, Georgia, and those areas there. Frost advisory this morning. That's a look at it. We have no fog lingering this morning, which is good. A bunch of snow up in the north. So a quick look at the forecast this morning as we begin our day. Already 6:50. We're getting ready for the day. We're going to make some coffee. Tommy, we are located in Meridian, Mississippi is where we are. It's where the studio is located. We'll reach out to a lot of different places across this. And you're right, Carlene, that groundhog just doesn't know what he's talking about, does he? Well, we've had some weather, just some doozies there, up and down. And Burr, it is cold. I agree with you, James, there. Grab a coat, and this is one of those mornings, and I hate to even have to remind you of this. If you warm your car up, make sure you've got an extra key to where you can lock it. A lot of the new ones have got it to where if you've got that key fob in your pocket, you can unlock it with your hand if you're near it. And that way you can do that. But and then some cities across the US of A, they make it illegal to warm your car up. I don't know how they enforce that, but just beware of where you live. Main thing is somebody taking what's yours. Make sure you got it locked if you've got it warming up. Today is one of those cool ones. 30, wind chill of 20 right now as we begin this day together. We're going to be right back in about 5 to 6 minutes as we'll go live with local. What's going on? Ooh, a possible somebody trying to get into an ATM. We've got all that. We've had a death. We'll tell you all the details coming up at 7 o'clock. Odie's going to join me. He's got his red, white, and blue hat on over there. His wife didn't fix his hair this morning, I think is what he's going to say. We'll be right back. Join us, won't you? It all begins at 7 o'clock for the Scotty Ray Report. We'll see you then.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.